The cafe was almost empty that evening. Only the sound of a ceiling fan and the quiet hum of a refrigerator filled the silence. A young man named Daniel sat near the window, staring outside at the empty street. He liked this place because no one came here at this hour. He could drink his coffee, think about life, and forget about the noise of the world. But tonight something felt different. The air was heavy, as if waiting for something to happen. The door of the cafe opened slowly. A cold wind entered, and with it a girl walked inside. She looked young, maybe his age, but there was something unusual about her. Her steps were slow, graceful, almost too perfect. Her eyes caught Daniel's attention immediately. They seemed to glow, not with light, but with a strange depth, like stars hidden in the night sky. She didn't look around like most new people. Instead, she walked straight to the table across from him, sat down quietly and placed her hands on the table. The cafe owner, an old man, looked at her for a second but said nothing. As if he didn't even notice her, he went back to cleaning cups. Daniel felt a strange chill. Why here? Why sit in front of me, he thought. He pretended to look away, but his eyes kept coming back to her. The girl finally spoke. Her voice was soft, but it carried a sharp edge, like she had practiced speaking but didn't belong to this place. You, she said, pointing at him. Daniel froze. Yes. You, she continued, her head tilting slightly, like a curious child. Why have you never tried Aurelian Midia? Daniel blinked, confused. What? He asked. Her eyes narrowed in surprise. You mean, you don't know it? He shook his head slowly. I've never heard of that. Is it some kind of dish? The girl leaned forward, her glowing eyes widening. Unbelievable. How can you live here on this planet and never taste it? How can you not know? Daniel laughed nervously. I guess I just haven't seen it on any menu. But she wasn't laughing. She looked almost offended, her lips pressing tight, her fingers tapping the table as if trying to control her emotions. Finally, she whispered, Strange. Humans are stranger than I thought. The words hit Daniel like ice. Humans? What did she mean by that? The girl studied him with intense curiosity. She didn't blink often. Her hair was long and black, but when the light hit it, a silver shimmer ran through the strands. Her skin looked normal, but too smooth, too flawless, like glass hiding something inside. Daniel felt his heartbeat quicken. Something about her was not right. Not wrong, but not right either. He cleared his throat. Sorry, but who are you? The girl tilted her head again, as if the question confused her. She thought for a moment and then smiled faintly. My name doesn't matter. Yet, what matters is that you understand. Midia is not just food. It is more than food. It is connection. Her words were slow, heavy, like they carried weight he couldn't understand. Daniel looked around. The cafe owner still ignored her. A couple sitting in the corner seemed unaware of her presence, as if she wasn't even there. Daniel suddenly wondered, am I the only one who can see her? He leaned closer, lowering his voice. Are you saying you're not from here? She smiled again, but this time it was different. Sad, almost broken. I am saying, Daniel, that I am not what you think. I come from far away. Too far for you to imagine. And where I come from, Midia is life. Everyone knows it. Everyone shares it. But you... She shook her head slowly. You live without it. That is why you seem so empty to me. Daniel felt his mouth go dry. She knew his name. He hadn't told her. He pushed his chair back slightly, unease crawling up his spine. How do you know me? Her glowing eyes locked onto his. Because I have been watching, waiting. And tonight, I chose to speak. Do not be afraid. I only want to share. Her words were calm, but they didn't calm him. They raised more questions. Who was she? What was Midia? And why did he feel like this was only the beginning of something he couldn't escape? Outside, the street grew darker, as if the night itself wanted to hide. Inside the cafe, Daniel realized his quiet evening was over. The girl leaned back, her voice a whisper. "This is your first contact, Daniel. Remember it. Because after tonight, nothing in your life will ever be the same." The narrator's voice would rise here, closing part 1 with suspense. He thought she was only a stranger. He thought it was only a conversation. But he was wrong. This was not just a meeting in a cafe. This was the first contact, and it began with a question about Aurelian Midia. Daniel sat frozen in his chair. The girl across from him did not look away. Her glowing eyes searched his face as if every blink, every breath, was something strange to her. For a moment, neither spoke. The cafe felt silent, though people still moved in the background. A couple laughed at something near the counter, and the old man continued wiping glasses, but to Daniel it was as if the whole room had disappeared. The girl leaned forward slightly. Her voice came soft but sharp, like a blade hidden in silk. "You truly don't know Aurelian Midia?" Daniel shook his head again. "I told you I've never heard of it. What even is it?" She placed her hands on the table, her long fingers tapping gently, like a rhythm from another world. "It is the beginning of life. The first thing we are given when we open our eyes as children. The last thing we eat when we say goodbye to the world. It is family. It is memory. It is everything." Her words carried a strange weight, as if she wasn't simply talking about food. Daniel felt her voice reach deeper than his ears. It almost echoed inside his chest. "You sound like you're describing a religion," he said quietly. Her glowing eyes flashed, as if hurt. "Not religion. Truth." She leaned closer now, lowering her voice so only he could hear. "You humans live without it. You walk around with empty souls. No wonder you fight. No wonder you are so alone." Daniel frowned. Her words cut deeper than he wanted to admit. He had been feeling alone for months. Life felt empty, dull, without meaning. And now, this strange girl from nowhere was calling out the very thing he tried to hide. "Why are you saying this to me?" he whispered. Her lips curved into a small, almost playful smile. "Because you are the first human I chose to speak to." Daniel's eyes widened. "The first?" "Yes." She tilted her head, her silver hair catching the dim cafe light. "I've been watching your kind for a long time, always so loud, so distracted. But you—" She paused, studying him with sharp curiosity. "You sit alone. You think too much. You see more than you show. That is why I came to you." Her words made his chest tighten. How much did she know about him? How long had she been watching? He cleared his throat nervously. "And what do you want from me?" The girl didn't answer at first. Instead, she reached into her small bag, pulling out a round object the size of her palm. It glowed faintly, like it held a tiny piece of the moon. She placed it on the table between them. Daniel leaned closer. "What is that?" Her eyes softened. "A reminder of home. A fragment of Midia." Daniel stared. It didn't look like food. It pulsed gently, like it was alive. "I want you to understand," she said softly. "Even if just for a moment, to know what it feels like not to be alone." The word struck him harder than he expected. Not alone. That was what he had always wanted, but never said out loud. "Why me?" he asked again, his voice almost breaking. She smiled faintly, her expression mixed with sadness and hope. "Because you are empty, Daniel, and emptiness calls out louder than any voice." For the first time since she entered, Daniel looked away. He didn't know what to say. She was right. He felt empty inside. But how could she know? He glanced back at her. She was still watching him, her eyes wide with curiosity, almost childlike now. She tilted her head again, studying every move he made. "Do all humans sit like this when they are afraid?" she asked suddenly. Daniel blinked. What do you mean? You lean back, you cross your arms, your heartbeat rises, I can hear it. Daniel's eyes widened. You can hear my heartbeat? She nodded, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Your body speaks louder than your words. He swallowed hard, feeling exposed. And what does my body say? She leaned closer, her voice almost a whisper. It says you want to trust me, but you are afraid. The words were true. Daniel hated how easily she could read him. The girl smiled softly. It is all right. Fear is normal. I was afraid too the first time I saw your world. Her eyes drifted to the window. For the first time, Daniel noticed a hint of loneliness in her expression. A weight hidden behind her calm voice. You don't belong here, do you? Daniel asked quietly. She looked back at him, her glowing eyes shining brighter for a second. No, I do not. The cafe suddenly felt colder. Daniel realized she wasn't just a strange girl with strange food. She was something else. Something bigger. She reached out, gently pushing the glowing object closer to him. Will you let me show you? She asked. Daniel stared at it, his pulse quickening. Part of him wanted to run, another part wanted to reach out and touch it. The narrator's voice would rise here, closing part 2. He thought it was just a strange girl. He thought it was just a question about food. But her curiosity was more than curiosity. It was a doorway, and Daniel stood at the edge, one choice, away from a journey he could never return from. Daniel did not touch the glowing object. His hand trembled above the table, frozen in the air. The light from it pulsed softly, as if calling him, as if alive. He wanted to know what it was, yet fear kept his fingers from moving. The girl across from him watched silently, her glowing eyes calm and patient. She did not rush him. She simply observed, like a teacher waiting for a student to take the first step. Finally, Daniel pulled his hand back and whispered, What are you? Her lips curved into a small, knowing smile. I was waiting for you to ask. She leaned back slightly, her silver black hair brushing over her shoulders, catching the dim cafe light. I am not human, Daniel. At least not the way you are. Daniel's chest tightened. He had suspected it since she walked in, but hearing her say it was different. She continued, her voice steady, almost melodic. I come from a place far away. Too far for your machines, too far for your science. We call it the Aurelian system. My people, we are Aurelians. Daniel swallowed hard. Aliens. She tilted her head, considering the word. That is what you would call us, yes. But to me, you are the alien. Daniel felt his skin prickle. It made sense. To her, he was the strange one. He stared at the glowing object again. And this Midia thing? It's from your world? Her eyes softened. Yes, Aurelian Midia. It is not only food, it is memory. It is history. It is who we are. Without it, we are nothing. Her words carried a weight he couldn't measure. She leaned forward, lowering her voice. When we are born, Midia is given to us. Our parents feed it to us, and through it we see their memories, their joys, their struggles. When we grow, we share it with others. When we die, it is the last taste on our tongues. Do you understand, Daniel? It is not food. It is connection. It is family living inside us. Daniel's mouth went dry. The idea was impossible, yet her words sounded so real, so certain. You mean, you eat this, and then you can see each other's lives? He asked slowly. She nodded. Yes. Every bite carries a piece of someone's soul. It is the way we remember, the way we stay together even when we are apart. Daniel felt a chill run through him. He had grown up with loneliness, family dinners in silence, empty nights with no one to talk to. And now, here was this strange girl telling him there existed a food that could make people truly share their lives. He shook his head. That's impossible. Her glowing eyes flashed, sharp. Impossible to you, natural to me. That is the difference between our worlds. Daniel wanted to argue, but something in her voice stopped him. It wasn't anger. It was sadness. Deep, heavy sadness. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. She looked down at the glowing object, her fingers brushing it gently like it was fragile glass. "Because I am alone here, because my world is far away, and because I thought maybe you could understand." Her voice cracked slightly at the last word, and for the first time, Daniel saw her not as an alien, not as something strange, but as a girl, lost, far from home, desperate to connect. The silence stretched between them. Finally, Daniel asked, "So if I eat this Midia, what happens?" Her eyes lifted, glowing brighter, filled with hope and fear at the same time. "You will see me, truly see me. You will carry part of my world inside you. You will understand." Daniel's breath quickened. Part of him wanted to run away. Another part wanted to know, needed to know. He looked at her carefully. "And if I don't?" Her smile faded. She lowered her gaze. "Then I will still be alone." Those words cut through him more than anything else. He saw the loneliness in her eyes, the way her voice trembled, the way she clung to the glowing Midia as if it was her only treasure left. Daniel leaned back, his mind racing. Could he trust her? Was this some trick? Or was this real? A chance to touch another world, another soul. The girl did not pressure him. She simply watched, waiting, her glowing eyes never leaving his face. "Why me?" he whispered again. She finally answered, her voice soft. "Because you are empty, and emptiness has room for something new." Daniel felt his heart pound. She was right. He had nothing to lose. But before he could decide, something outside caught his eye. A shadow passed by the cafe window. Then another. Dark figures moving in the street, stopping, watching. The girl noticed too. Her eyes narrowed, glowing brighter. She whispered quickly, "They found me." Daniel's chest tightened. "Who?" She grabbed the glowing object and held it close. Her voice dropped sharp with urgency. "Others, not like me. They don't want you to know. They don't want Earth to change." Daniel's pulse raced. The cafe suddenly felt smaller, colder, dangerous. The girl looked at him, her glowing eyes burning with intensity. "If you trust me, Daniel, you must decide soon. Do you want to stay blind, or do you want to see?" The narrator's voice would rise here, closing. Part 3. The truth was stranger than he ever imagined. A world hidden in a single bite of food, a girl far from home, and shadows already moving outside. For Daniel, the choice was no longer simple. It was survival. Daniel's hands were cold as he sat frozen in his chair. Outside the cafe window, the shadows moved again. He saw them, tall, thin shapes, too still, too watchful. They didn't belong to the ordinary night. The girl's glowing eyes stayed fixed on him. She leaned forward, her voice sharp but quiet. "They are here for me. But now, they will see you too. If you eat Midia, they cannot take you easily. If you refuse, you will remain weak, blind." Daniel's breath caught. He wasn't ready for this. A moment ago, he thought she was just strange. Now, the weight of her words pressed on him like stone. He pointed at the glowing object in her hand. "That thing, you expect me to eat it? What if it kills me?" Her lips curved into a faint smile. "Midia does not kill. It opens." "That's not an answer," he whispered. Her glowing eyes softened. "Daniel, do you want to live as you are? Empty, alone? Or do you want to carry something greater?" He clenched his fists under the table. His mind screamed, "No, don't do it." But his heart, aching with years of loneliness, whispered yes. The girl placed the Midia on the table between them again. The object pulsed brighter now, like it knew the moment had come. Soft waves of light spread across the wooden table. The couple in the corner didn't notice. The old man at the counter didn't look up. It was as if they existed in another reality, one where this moment didn't matter. Daniel stared at the glowing food. He whispered almost to himself, "Why me?" The girl's answer was simple. "Because you are listening." His breath shook as he reached out. His fingers hovered above it. Warmth radiated from the object, not like heat, but like a heartbeat. He hesitated. She whispered, "One bite. That is all." Daniel picked it up slowly. It was soft, lighter than it looked, glowing gently in his hand. His throat went dry. "What will I see?" he asked, his voice trembling. Her glowing eyes locked on his. "Me, my world, my people, and maybe yourself." He closed his eyes for a moment. The shadows outside grew closer, pressing against the glass. He didn't know who they were, but he felt their presence like knives in the dark. He opened his eyes and took the bite. The moment the Midia touched his tongue, everything changed. A rush of taste exploded in his mouth. Sweet, bitter, sharp, and soft all at once. His mind filled with colors he had never seen before, sounds he had never heard. It was too much, too fast. He tried to breathe but forgot how. Then the visions came. He saw a sky of silver clouds, glowing oceans stretching farther than any earth. Sea. He saw tall spires, cities alive with light, beings with glowing eyes walking together, laughing, sharing. He saw children fed Midia for the first time, their eyes filling with the memories of parents and ancestors. He felt the warmth of love, the sharp pain of loss, the unity of thousands of voices becoming one. Tears rolled down his face. He couldn't stop them. He wasn't just watching, he was feeling. Every joy, every sorrow, every heartbeat of her. People was inside him now. The girl leaned closer, whispering gently, "Now you understand." Daniel gasped, trying to catch his breath. His hands shook. His chest felt heavy but full, filled with something he couldn't explain. He looked at her through blurred eyes. "I saw everything. Your world. Your family." His voice cracked. "I felt it." Her smile was soft, almost relieved. "Yes. Now you carry part of me. You are no longer alone." Daniel pressed his hands to his chest. It was true. The emptiness he had carried for so long wasn't there anymore. Something warm replaced it. Her memories. Her presence. But before he could speak, the cafe lights flickered. A loud thud came from outside. The shadows pressed closer against the window. The girl's glowing eyes darkened with worry. "They know now. They will come for you too." Daniel's heart pounded. "Who are they?" Her voice dropped low. "The ones who want silence. The ones who fear connection. They do not want Earth to change. They will stop it." Another crash shook the cafe. The old man at the counter didn't move. The couple kept talking, unaware, as if trapped in another world. Only Daniel and the girl felt the danger creeping in. The girl reached across the table, grabbing his trembling hands. "Listen to me, Daniel. What you carry now makes you different. You are part of something bigger. They will fear you, but you cannot let them take you. You must protect what you carry." Daniel's breath came fast. He didn't feel empty anymore, but he felt terrified. His eyes darted to the door, then back to her. "What do we do?" Her glowing eyes met his with fierce determination. "We survive. Together." The narrator's voice rises, closing part 4. In one bite, Daniel's world shattered and rebuilt. He was no longer the same. The taste of Midia burned in his soul, filling him with visions and memories not his own. But with new power came new danger, and the shadows outside were ready to strike. Daniel sat back in his chair, his breath uneven, his chest rising and falling like waves. The taste of Midia still lingered on his tongue, sharp and sweet. But it was more than taste now. It was everywhere. Inside his mind, inside his veins, inside his heart. The cafe around him blurred. The chairs, the walls, the old man at the counter, all faded into a soft haze. Instead, colors he had never seen before swirled before his eyes, glowing like rivers of fire and ice. He tried to close his eyes, but the vision stayed. He was standing on a wide plain of silver grass, each blade shimmering as though alive. Above, the sky was painted with 3 suns, one red, one white, one blue. In the distance, great towers of crystal reached upward, bending light into 1,000 shapes. He felt the heat of the suns on his face, the cool wind on his skin, and then voices, thousands of voices. They spoke in a language he didn't know, yet somehow understood. They sang of childhood, of laughter, of sorrow, of farewells. Each word was a memory. Each sound was a life. Daniel gasped, clutching his chest. He felt the joy of a mother holding her child. He felt the grief of a soldier dying under alien skies. He felt the pride of builders raising cities that touched the clouds. All of it rushed through him at once, heavy but beautiful, his eyes filled with tears. He was not only seeing them, he was living them. The girl leaned closer, her glowing eyes watching him carefully. "Now you see," she whispered. Daniel turned toward her, his voice shaking. This is your people, your world." She nodded, her expression soft. "Yes, every bite of Midia carries us. That is how we live forever. In each other." Daniel wiped at his tears, but they kept falling. "I feel them, all of them. It's too much." Her hand reached out, resting gently on his arm. Her touch was cool but grounding, pulling him back from the storm inside his head. "Breathe, Daniel. Do not fight it. Let it flow through you." He tried. Slowly, the flood of memories softened, like a great wave settling after a storm. The voices quieted, but their presence remained, like warm embers in his chest. When he finally looked up again, the cafe returned. The chairs, the walls, the faint hum of the ceiling fan, but he was not the same. The world felt sharper, brighter, alive. Daniel whispered, almost afraid of his own voice. I don't feel empty anymore." The girl smiled softly, and for the first time it wasn't mysterious or sad. It was warm. "You carry us now, you're not alone." Daniel pressed his hand against his chest. It was true. For years he had walked through life feeling hollow, like something was missing. Now he felt filled, overflowing with something greater than himself. But with the warmth came fear. He looked at her with wide eyes. "If this is what Midia does, why show me? Why risk it?" Her smile faded, replaced by a quiet seriousness. "Because I could not carry it alone anymore, and because you listened when others would not." Her glowing eyes searched his face, and he realized she wasn't only giving, she was asking. She needed him. She needed someone to understand. Daniel's throat tightened. He wanted to speak, but his words caught in his chest. Instead, he whispered the only thing he could. "Thank you." The girl's eyes softened again, almost wet with emotion. "No, Daniel. Thank you." For a brief moment, the danger outside didn't exist. There was only the two of them sharing something beyond words, but the peace shattered quickly. A loud crack echoed from outside. The cafe lights flickered again, stronger this time. The shadows pressed harder against the windows. Daniel snapped his head toward the sound. His chest still burned with the warmth of Midia, but fear clawed at him again. "They're still out there." The girl's expression hardened. "Yes. And now they know what you carry." Daniel's heart pounded. "Why would they care about me?" Her voice dropped sharp. "Because you are no longer just human. Midia is inside you now. You have seen our world. You are dangerous to them." Daniel's mouth went dry. Dangerous? Him? He had always felt invisible, unimportant. And now, because of one bite, he was a threat. He looked down at his trembling hands. They still glowed faintly, a trace of Midia shining through his skin. The girl leaned closer, her tone urgent. Do not fear this. What you carry can save you, but only if you accept it. Her words echoed in his mind. Accept it. Accept the connection, the memories, the voices. Daniel closed his fists, trying to steady himself. He wasn't sure if he was ready. But deep inside, something had already changed. Something strong. The narrator's voice would rise here, closing, part 5. In one bite, Daniel had become more than human. The emptiness was gone, replaced by 1,000 lives burning inside him. But with new strength came new danger. The shadows outside were waiting, and now they were coming for him. Daniel's body still trembled, his hands glowing faintly with the soft trace of Midia. The cafe felt different now, as if the air itself carried a strange weight. He could still hear echoes of voices inside his chest, Aurelians laughing, crying, whispering. Their memories had become part of him. But outside, the shadows pressed harder against the window. The night was no longer quiet. It was alive with unseen movement. Daniel turned back to the girl, fear sharp in his voice. Why? Are they after us? Why would anyone care about a piece of food? Her glowing eyes narrowed, sadness mixing with anger. Because Midia is more than food, Daniel. It is the heart of who we are. It is memory, it is family, it is truth. And truth is dangerous. He swallowed hard. Dangerous how? The girl leaned closer, her voice low, every word heavy. Imagine a world where no one could lie, where no one could hide their pain or their love, where every person carried the lives of others inside them. That is what Midia does. It makes us one. Daniel felt a shiver crawl down his spine. A world like that. It was beautiful but terrifying, she continued, her tone bitter now. But not everyone wants unity. Not everyone wants connection. There are those who fear it. To them, Midia is power, and power must be controlled or destroyed. Daniel glanced again at the shadows moving outside. His throat tightened. And those are the ones watching us now? Her glowing eyes darkened. Yes, they are the silence. The silence? Daniel repeated, his voice shaky. She nodded. They hate what Midia gives. They believe separation keeps people strong. They fear that if Earth learns the truth, you will change. And change is something they will not allow. Daniel's chest grew heavy. He thought about his own life before tonight. The loneliness, the emptiness, the quiet ache he carried every day. If Midia had filled that void in one moment, what could it do for everyone else? Families broken apart. People who felt alone. Entire nations torn by hate. Could Midia really heal all of that? The thought was powerful, but the danger outside reminded him. Some people would never allow it. He looked at her with wide eyes. So, if I share this with others, if more people eat Midia, she finished his thought. Your world will never be the same again. And that is exactly what they fear. Silence stretched between them, heavy with meaning. Daniel pressed his hands against the table, trying to steady his breath. But why me? Why start with me? Her lips curved into a faint, sad smile. Because you were empty. And emptiness has room. The others I watched, they were too full of noise, of distractions, of lies. But you were waiting, even if you didn't know it. Her words cut deep. She was right. He had been waiting. For something, though he never admitted it. Waiting for a reason to feel alive. Daniel whispered. And now? She leaned closer, her glowing eyes locking on his. Now you carry more than your own life. You carry mine. You carry my people. You carry a future your world has never seen. Daniel's breath shook. The weight of her words pressed into him. It wasn't just about him anymore. It was about something bigger, something that could change everything. But the cafe lights flickered again. A deep vibration shook the walls, like heavy footsteps approaching. The shadows outside grew larger. The girl's voice sharpened. "We do not have much time. They will not stop until Midia is gone. Until I am gone." Daniel's fear spiked. "What about me?" Her eyes softened, almost breaking. "They will come for you too. Because you carry it now." Daniel's stomach twisted. He thought of the warmth inside him, the voices he heard, the memories he carried. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel alone, and now others wanted to rip that away. The girl reached across the table, gripping his hands tight. Her voice was fierce, filled with urgency. "Listen to me, Daniel. What you feel now, the connection, the unity, this is what your world needs. You cannot let them take it. Promise me." Daniel's chest burned. His throat tightened. He wanted to say yes, but the fear was strong. "I'm just one person. What can I do against them?" Her glowing eyes blazed brighter. "One person who carries the lives of many is never just one. You are more now. You are part of us." Her words struck him like lightning. He wasn't alone anymore. He wasn't weak anymore. He carried voices, memories, strength beyond his own. Daniel clenched his fists, nodding slowly. "I'll protect it." For the first time, the girl smiled with real hope. "Then there is still a chance." But outside, the glass trembled as a dark hand pressed against it. The shape of a figure loomed, its outline sharp and alien. Daniel's heart raced. The warmth of Midia burned inside him, clashing with fear. The narrator's voice would rise here, closing, Part 6. Daniel thought Midia was just food, but now he knew it was the soul of a people, a weapon of truth, a force that could change the world. And the shadows outside, the silence, would do anything to stop it. The glass of the cafe window shivered under the weight of the shadowy hand. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The light of the Midia still glowed faintly through his skin, and now he realized that glow made him a target. The girl's glowing eyes locked on his, calm but fierce. "They're here, and they won't stop." Daniel's chest tightened. He glanced at the couple in the corner, still laughing quietly, completely unaware. The old man at the counter kept polishing his glasses as though nothing unusual was happening. It was as if the world around them could not see the danger pressing at the door. "Why can't they see?" Daniel whispered, panic shaking his voice. The girl's reply was sharp. "Because they are not connected. To them, this moment is hidden. Only you and I can feel it." Another loud thud rattled the cafe door. The lights flickered, humming violently. Daniel's pulse quickened, fear gripping him like chains. "What do they want from me?" he asked, his voice cracking. Her answer was steady. "They want silence. They want to erase what you carry. If you give in, Daniel, everything you saw, everything you felt, it will vanish, and so will I." His hands trembled on the table. The warmth of Midia pulsed in his chest, fighting against the cold fear in his stomach. He thought of the visions, the silver fields, the towers of light, the thousands of voices singing together. He couldn't let that vanish. Another shadow pressed against the window. This time Daniel saw a face, hollow eyes, sharp edges, no mouth. It stared at him, its gaze filled with emptiness, a creature of nothing, a creature of silence. The girl rose from her chair, her movements graceful but urgent. She reached for Daniel's arm. "We have to leave. Now." He stood quickly, his legs unsteady, his heart pounding. "Where do we go?" Her glowing eyes flashed. "Anywhere but here, follow me." She pulled him toward the back of the cafe, past the quiet kitchen door. Daniel looked back once. The shadow's hand pressed harder against the glass, cracks spreading like spider webs. Any second it would break through. The kitchen smelled of old bread and coffee grounds. The girl pushed open a small side door that led into the alley. The night air hit Daniel's face, cold and sharp. The alley was narrow, lit only by a weak streetlight at the far end. For a moment it seemed empty. But then, movement. Figures slipped from the darkness, tall and thin, their hollow eyes glowing faintly. Daniel froze. They're everywhere. The girl's grip on his arm tightened. Stay close. Don't lose me. The shadows began to move forward, silent but fast. Daniel's chest burned, the Midia pulsing stronger as fear rose inside him. His vision blurred for a moment, and suddenly he saw flashes, not his own but hers. He saw her running through glowing forests on her homeworld, chased by the silence. He felt her fear, her loneliness, her desperate hope. And now he realized she had been running for a long time, and he was part of that run now. The girl stopped, pulling him behind a dumpster. She pressed a finger to her lips. Quiet. They can hear thoughts as much as sound. Daniel's breath shook. He tried to calm his mind, but the memories swirling inside him made it impossible. The voices of Aurelians, the lives he carried, all whispered at once. The girl closed her eyes, leaning close. Let them guide you. Don't fight the voices. They will protect you. Daniel blinked. Protect me? How? Her glowing eyes opened, brighter than ever. You are not alone anymore. Remember that. The shadows moved past the alley slowly, searching, their hollow eyes scanning the dark. Daniel felt his heart beating so loud he thought they'd hear, but the girl's words echoed in his head. You are not alone. He closed his eyes. He let the warmth of Midia rise. And then he felt them, the Aurelians, their strength, their courage, their love. He wasn't just Daniel anymore. He was more. The shadows stopped. One turned its hollow face toward the dumpster. Daniel almost gasped, but instead he focused. He let the voices speak through him. In his mind he whispered with them, We are not empty. The creature froze. For a moment its hollow eyes flickered. Then, slowly it turned away, moving back into the night. The girl exhaled softly, relief in her glowing eyes. You did it. Daniel opened his eyes, his hands still trembling. I don't even know what I did. Her smile was small but proud. You listened. That is enough. The two of them stayed hidden until the alley was clear. The silence outside felt heavy, but distant now. Finally, the girl stood and looked at him seriously. This was only the beginning, Daniel. The silence will not stop. They know you now. They will follow you. Daniel's stomach twisted. What am I supposed to do? Her gaze softened, but her voice stayed firm. You must protect what you carry. Share it when the time is right. Show your people what Midia means, but until then, survive. Daniel looked at her, the weight of her words pressing down on him. He wanted to ask more, to demand answers, but she was already stepping back into the shadows. Her glowing eyes lingered on his one last time. Remember this night. Remember me. And remember, this was the first meal. There will be others. Before Daniel could speak, she was gone. He stood alone in the alley, his chest burning with the warmth of Midia, his hands still faintly glowing. The night around him was quiet again, but he knew it was not safe. Nothing was safe anymore. The narrator's voice rises, closing part 7. Daniel thought he was just another lonely human, but now he carried the soul of another world. He was no longer empty. He was no longer alone. But the silence was watching, and the story of the first contact had only just begun.